Konnichiwa guys, welcome to our channel Loops of Biology. I'm Yogiraj Jakkal taking you all to the next part of biomolecules, that is nothing but secondary metabolites and metabolic pull. So now if we are talking about secondary metabolite, then what are the secondary metabolites? We must have heard about metabolites. Metabolites are nothing but metabolites are nothing but the products which are formed products which are formed from reactant as a primary product primary and major product however, if we are talking about secondary metabolites during the complete metabolic process, somehow there are some products which are coming out as a byproduct in the complete process, and those products are called as my secondary metabolites. So during metabolism during metabolism the products which are released out and not useful for main product formation, all right. Along with this, these are not essential for growth, and one of the main thing is that these products are also organic in nature. So the nature of this product is organic. Now, why do the bacteria or any other organism forming this particular secondary metabolite? That is the main thing. First of all, we will go for the types and then we will figure out why this is happening. So there are basically three major factors. All right, rather four major factors. First one is basically alkaloids, which are nothing but useful in drugs, in formation of medicinal drugs. Next case is nothing but my phenolics. All right, so there is going to be a case of phenolics. Now, as the name suggests, phenol, that means there is going to be the presence of aromatic ring. That is nothing but my benzene ring. Along with there is a presence of hydrogen and oxygen. So there is also presence of hydrogen and oxygen. Next case will be your terpenes. There is going to be terpenes, which are also called as terpenoid. They are also useful in some of the medicinal drugs, and they are made up of mevalonic acid. So guys, there is no need to actually get into the structure of all this. So there is going to be a mevalonic acid is a precursor. And there are some nitrogen containing compounds as well. So there are nitrogen and sulfur containing compound compounds. As we can see that there are many such uses which are medicinally very useful whenever we are considering your secondary metabolite inside this particular diagram. Next is, why do organisms synthesize secondary metabolites? As I said, these are the byproducts which are coming out during the process of metabolism, right? So they are basically synthesized according to the external condition. If we are changing or putting them inside a stressful condition, the secondary metabolites are formed. So in this particular case, even though even though the organisms are not using this this metabolites, the formation occurs as a byproduct. So they are nothing but excessive production which is taking place. Next case, these products are formed. The products are formed during stressful condition, during stressful condition. Got it? So whenever we are basically reducing down the external substrate provision or the reactant provision from which the metabolites are basically formed. So in that particular case, you are going to see that this particular secondary metabolites are formed. So as soon as the reactants are over, the reactants are not helping for growth, and over in the surrounding, and over in the surrounding, in that particular case, you are going to see the secondary metabolite formation. Now, stage of synthesizing secondary metabolite is very interesting, because this is particularly the secondary metabolites, the secondary metabolites are released when the growth of organism is in its saturated phase. Now, what do you mean by saturated phase? That means with respect to time, the growth is remaining constant. There is no change in the growth, not even increase, not even decrease. The steady amount of organisms are present in the case of time. Got it? So in this particular case, the number of organisms remains constant when the time is considered. Got it? So during this particular phase, the metabolites are over. The metabolites in surrounding are over or finished. Got it? So in this particular case, whenever the metabolites are over, the organisms are under stressful condition. The organisms are under stressful condition. under stressful condition. And this stressful condition is basically called as your saturation phase. Saturation phase, as the normal guys say, and the literate guy will say it as EDO phase. So decide what you want to be. So here there is going to be a saturation phase, or that is also called as EDO phase. In that particular phase, you are going to see the formation of secondary metabolites. Now, what are different uses of your secondary metabolites? So if I am considering your first secondary metabolites as alkaloid, so there is one name called as morphine. Most of you must have came across this particular name. So this is used in the cough suppressant and pain reliever. So the morphine is used as cough suppressant and pain reliever and pain reliever. So basically it is used in the case of cough syrups. Alright, whenever you are undergoing through a common cold and there is a formation of cough, this particular morphine containing liquid is basically provided, which is going to be shown as cough suppressant. Got my point? And that is also a painkiller. So this morphine is an alkaloid secondary metabolite which is obtained from a latex of a plant called as Papaver somniferum. Papaver somniferum. So this is nothing but your source of the morphine as my secondary metabolites. Even plants can synthesize secondary metabolites. Next case, there are cocaines and terpenes. So there is going to be your cocaine and terpenes. These are also one of the secondary metabolites which are used for recreation and stimulation of something. Alright, so whenever we are considering cocaine, they are basically used as hallucinogens. So whenever the person has to feel relaxed and they have to stimulate with a relaxed feeling, that particular stimulation and recreation is carried out by cocaine and terpene. So it is used for recreation. It is used for recreation and relaxation and relaxation or stimulation Got my point, guys? Next case, there are some secondary metabolites which are adding flavor inside it. Alright, so the flavors of secondary metabolites, are used in a food as well. Fourth case, if we are talking about some of the characteristics and aroma of cabbages and their sulfur containing chemicals alongside glucosinoids to protect the particular plant from many pests. So if we are talking about aroma of cabbage, it protects plant from many pests. The plant from many pests. However, this particular aroma is containing nitrogen and sulfur containing secondary metabolites. Alongside there is glucosinolates. There is going to be presence of glucosinolates. So both of these components are basically providing aroma to the cabbage, and that is going to protect this particular plants from the infecting pests. Along with, there is going to be the presence of tannin. So if you are talking about point number 5, there is going to be your tannin. This tannin is basically important whenever we are going to show astringergy or the bitterness or the particular flavor inside a chocolate and wine. So there is a strong flavor for chocolate, and wine and wine. Along with this is also present inside a tea. Also present in a tea. The strong flavor of tea is basically because of presence of tannin. The higher the concentration of tannin, the stronger will be the particular tea is going to be in a test. Alright. There are alongside some of the enzymes are also released out. The enzymes are also released out. If we are talking about some of the examples for the enzymes, first will be your cellulase, that will break down cellulose. This will break down cellulose, and there is going to be one of the case called as lipase, that is going to break down lipid. This is going to break down lipids. Along with that, there are some of the organic acids which are also formed, like like vinegar, or it is called as acetic acid formation. And can you guess from where it is going to be formed? So this acetic acid is formed from acetobacter aceti bacteria. So this is nothing but a bacterial product which we are using in a food industry. Next case, there is vitamin B12, vitamin B1, vitamin C, vitamin D. There is a formation. By bacteria itself. And final one, that is nothing but your penicillin. And this penicillin is basically very much useful to reduce down the number of growing bacteria inside a body. And this is obtained from a fungus called as Penicillium chrysogenum. Now, as we have seen, the bacteria are not going to use this particular product in their growth. However, there is an effect called as amensalism. Which is seen in the case of bacteria. Now, what is amensalism? That is nothing but the products are basically formed through bacteria which are not useful for one of them, but they are released out and they are going to affect negatively on other species. So the effect in which one species is not harmed at all and another species is harmed negatively, that is nothing but known as amensalism. Now, next case after this particular part, this will be the last part of this chapter, that is what is metabolic pull. If you are talking about metabolic pull, the name suggests that there is going to be the number of reactions are carried out in a cytoplasm or a cell, or another organelles. So in this particular case, whenever we are converting one of the biomolecules inside other, so there is going to be the set of biomolecules the set of biomolecules are converted are converted into another form of biomolecules, that is nothing but your case of metabolic pull. So here, based on the requirement of based on the requirement of organism and regulation of energy and regulation of energy, the particular process is either follows anabolic pathway, that is nothing but formation of complex biomolecules, or catabolic pathway where complex biomolecules are broken down into their respective monomers. This complete set is nothing but called as metabolic pull, where carbohydrates can also be converted into fats based on the requirement of particular organism. I hope you love this particular video and understood the complete concepts of biomolecules and well versed with this chapter, guys. Please do not forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel. Hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.